Hello everyone, welcome back. This is lesson number 5. We'll be looking at advanced prompt strategies, taking your AI prompts to the next level. So we're going to be exploring things such as multi-step reasoning, roleplay and scenario based prompts. Let's get right into it. So, multi-step reasoning. This involves breaking down a complex task into smaller parts so that the AI can approach each part more methodically. And so we've just got an example here where you'd say, for example, step 1, list the core skills needed. Step 2, propose learning activities and hands-on exercises. Step 3, create a daily Monday to Friday schedule. So this would be multi-step reasoning for someone who's, let's say, a teacher trying to teach a class and wants to know some hands-on exercises that they can do, etc, etc, etc. By chunking tasks, the AI's response is more structured and accurate. You can catch errors or omissions, in other words things that are left out at each step more easily. Pro tip: combine multi-step reasoning with iterative prompting. If the output isn't perfect on the first try, refine each step as you go on. So let's take a look at some examples of multi-step prompting. And I actually did have a few examples just to save time. So let's take this question here. Bang, bang, boom. So we've got John has 3 times as many apples as Sarah. Sarah has 4 apples. How many apples do they have together? Let's think step by step. So adding in the let's think step by step ensures that the AI is then going to break it down step by step. Sure, let's break this down step by step. So find how many apples Sarah has. Sarah has 4 apples. John has 3 times as many apples as Sarah, so we've got 3 times 4 equals 12 apples. Add the apples together. John has 12 apples. Sarah has 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. They have 16 apples together, which is correct. And what you might find is, especially with some earlier large language models, is that if you don't apply the think step by step principle, is especially with math calculations and riddles, they'll often sometimes derive at the wrong answer. So that's something to bear in mind. But let's try another one, and I'm going to show you a neat little trick also that you can do. So we've got another one here. If plants need sunlight to perform photosynthesis, what would happen if a plant is kept in a dark room for 2 weeks? Explain step by step. Right, photosynthesis requires sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose, food and oxygen. In a dark room, there's no light, so photosynthesis cannot occur. Plants store energy as glucose or starch. When photosynthesis stops, the plant starts using up its stored energy to survive. Growth then slows or stops. Without new glucose from photosynthesis, the plant can't make new cells or grow. Growth halts and the plant may look weak or stunted. 4. The leaves are going to turn yellow, which is known as chlorosis. Chlorophyll, which makes the leaves green, breaks down without light. The plant stops producing new chlorophyll, so the leaves start turning yellow or pale. The plant begins to wilt or die. After about 2 weeks with no sunlight, energy reserves are depleted. The plant can't maintain its cell or absorb water properly. It will likely wilt, weaken and begin to die. Conclusion: if a plant is kept in a dark room for 2 weeks, photosynthesis stops, energy runs out and the plant will begin to die. Some hardy plants may survive slightly longer, but most will show clear signs of decline. And it's even included a little call to action there. Wow. To keep your plant healthy, make sure it gets the right amount of light based on its species. So as you can see here, if we didn't include the step-by-step instruction, we perhaps would have got something more just akin to the conclusion, which would just say, if a plant is kept in a dark room for 2 weeks, photosynthesis stops, energy runs out, and the plant will begin to die. But including the step-by-step, we get a much more tailored breakdown response. And this can be great if, say for example, you are a teacher, you're making a YouTube video, or you're a teacher, you're teaching a class. This can be a great tool for you to explain things step by step, so that you get this nice little breakdown here, which will allow you to explain things in a much more simple and structured format. But there's something I want to show you, which is in regards to when you're say for example you're coding and you want to troubleshoot something. It doesn't necessarily have to be coding, but it's a very good example. But you've come across an error and you're trying to run some troubleshooting to determine exactly what the error is and fix that error. So let's have a look at this example here. So I've got an example of buggy code. So this code, if I was to run this code here, oh, I've missed some out. Let's just move this up a little bit. Bear with me. So I've got some buggy code here, which if I was to run this, I would get an error in what's known as a terminal. When you're running code in an editor, we have what's known as a terminal, which displays the errors. So if I was to run this code, I would get an error and it would not run. And so what you can do is apply the step-by-step multi-reasoning principle. But as opposed to just simply saying fix this code and check for bugs step by step, you can actually explicitly say what steps that you want to explicitly state the steps that you want to check. So I'll just give you an example here. What's happening there? Right, here it is. So the following Python code returns an error. Find and fix the bug step by step. And so I've explicitly stated the steps which I want the AI to check for. So I want the AI to check the syntax for function definitions. I need the AI to look for missing punctuation or incorrect indentation. Check if variable names are defined and used correctly. Suggest the corrected version of the code and explain what the corrected code does. So this is ensuring that the troubleshooting is done properly and on my terms. Right, so let's just go ahead and run this and we'll see what it gives us. So we've got the original line here, the incorrect code. We've got def, so for define, calculate the total price, tax rate. And so now we see that, aha, there was a missing brackets and colon at the end. And so forth and so forth. You see, yeah. And so it's essentially gone ahead, step by step, added in the different punctuation, case sensitive, typos, etc. And you can see the different fixes here from final amount. There's missing an underscore there, etc, etc, etc. And so, as you can see, this is the power essentially of multi-step reasoning and explicitly suggesting the steps that you want it to check for. Will ensure that you get the outcome that you're looking for, essentially. But I hope you get the gist. So moving on. Right, so we've got roleplay and scenario-based prompts. So we've looked at this somewhat already, but this is just a little more specific, I suppose. So in roleplay prompts, you explicitly assign the AI a role or character which can shape its style, tone and knowledge domain. So for example, this is not the best example, but pretend you're a senior data scientist at a tech startup presenting to a non-technical CEO. Explain how machine learning can reduce costs in a 5-minute briefing. So let's just, for fun, let's take this example and see what it gives us. Oops. Thanks for taking time. I'd quickly like to walk through how machine learning can help us reduce costs and operate And of course, you can combine all these techniques together. So iterative prompting, if this is not you notice something that you want to tailor and want to tweak, you'd again go in and say, I like this, but let's add in some constraints. Let's change the context a little bit and say that we're speaking to a certain type of audience, whether corporate or whether of a certain age, or maybe we're speaking to all females, or speaking to young men in a school, 13. You tailor it so you get a much more tailored response, and just think of the scenario that you actually want to use it in, and simply apply that. Whether you're doing for a TED talk, let's give an example. This is great, but please tailor the response for this is great, but please tailor the response for a TED talk that I'm giving in Paris. I want you to use a more humorous and relaxed tone, and include some how can I say this? Include some points about things you love about Paris. I don't know. Something like that. Bonjour tout le monde. So here I am, a data scientist in Paris, trying to convince you that machine learning isn't just some mysterious algorithm hiding in your phone, waiting to steal your job or start a robot uprising. No, today I want to show you how machine learning can do something way more exciting, help your business save money without the drama. But first, let's talk about Paris. I've been here for a week and honestly I'm in love. The bread, incredible. The coffee, dangerous. The productivity after lunch, let's just say it's not machine-like, but that's okay, because while we're sipping espresso and debating, the best place for steak, frites, machine learning is quietly working in the background and doing the boring stuff for us. And then goes into it. So, we show by adding a row and combining all the other steps which we have previously learned, of course, makes your prompt that much more powerful. Scenario-based prompts are very similar, but essentially puts you in a scenario, which we've already simply just done by adding in the TED Talk scenario. That you essentially, you create a hypothetical scenario that frames the AI's task. So I've added another one here, where you're a tourist guide in Paris. Provide a 3-day itinerary for a family with 2 young children who love history but get bored easily. Include lunch and dinner spots near major attractions. So let's just go ahead and paste this one in and see what it gives us. So here we go. Day one. Classic Paris with a twist. Morning at the Eiffel Tower and Champ de Mars. Start at the Eiffel Tower. Book. Skip the line tickets to avoid meltdowns. Let the kids run around the Champ de Mars park below. There's a carousel and playgrounds. There's lunch nearby at the Le Café del Homme, modern French food with Eiffel views. They have a kids menu. I don't know why France and Paris is in my head for some reason. Maybe it's the next holiday. Who knows? Afternoon at the Seine River cruise. Take a bateau Parisiens cruise, 45 minutes. It's relaxing and the kids can spot famous landmarks like the Notre Dame and the Louvre from the water. Think of it as Paris bingo on a boat. This is great. I'm booking my ticket. Snack stop. Berthelian ice cream on St. Louis. Iconic and worth it. And then to conclude, you can have dinner near the hotel at the Café Constant. Casual bistro with friendly staff and classic dishes very close to the Eiffel Tower. And they've gone on and on for day 2 and day 3. So I can think this would be a great thing to use scenario based prompting. If say for example you're going on a date somewhere, or you're going on holiday somewhere and you need to plan your itinerary that way. And of course, by adding in these specifics, tailored for 2 kids or tailored for a couple for 2 who enjoy history or who enjoy trying new foods or who enjoy romantic or colourful or art or whatever it is that you enjoy, you tailor that in, and it's going to give you a very wonderful structured itinerary. Let's say, for example, someone who likes strategy games, let's do another one so you get the idea. So I like the fact you're a tourist guide. I'm just going to copy and paste that first bit. So you're a tourist guide in Japan. Now. Provide a free day itinerary for a couple, for a romantic couple. Oops, not aromatic. A romantic couple who love video games and Japanese culture. I don't know. Japanese culture and foods. Japanese culture and food. And of course you can add in more detail tailored to your personality or whatever as you wanted to. Include lunch, dinner, spots near major attractions. Alright. Perfect. Yeah. And let's see what that gives us. So here's a 3-day romantic itinerary in Tokyo, Japan, designed for a couple who love video games, Japanese culture and delicious food. It blends immersive game experience, culture exploration and cozy romantic spots to dine and unwind. So here you go. If you're a tour guide, this is a goldmine for you. Morning, the Akihabara Gaming Paradise. Wow, looks like we need to book our next ticket to Japan also. Dive into retro arcades, anime stores and multi-story game centers like Gigo Akihabara. Visit Super Potato for classic games and check out Akihabara Radio Kaikan for collectibles. We've also got lunch nearby at the Gyukatsu Motomura, famous for deep fried beef, cutlet cozy and quick with delicious sides. For the afternoon, we've got the Asakusa and Senso-ji Temple. Take a short train ride to Asakusa, stroll through Nakamisidori, grab traditional snacks like melon pan or taiyaki and soak up the temple atmosphere. Optional, you can rent some yukata for a romantic photo walk and dinner at this place, Kurasushi Asakusa Rocks. Amazing. And so there you go. That is an example of both roleplay and scenario based prompts. Self-ask prompts. Identify key questions. Instruct the AI to first identify the important questions it needs to answer. Address each question. The AI works through each identified question systematically and then reach a conclusion. After answering all sub-questions, the AI can provide a complete solution. Right, so self-ask prompts essentially instruct the AI to first identify key questions it needs to answer and then address them one by one. So we've got an example here. Break down the key questions you need to ask yourself to solve this math word problem. Then answer each question step by step. The AI identifies sub-questions. What is the total time? How many items need to be processed? Then it systematically works through them. This encourages the AI to structure its own chain of thought, which can improve clarity and correctness. It's especially useful for complex problem solving where multiple variables are involved. I didn't actually remember to provide a scenario for this one. Perhaps I'll include one in subsequent lessons. Whoops. This is something that we've already looked at. Zero shot versus few shot approaches. You ask the AI to perform a task without providing any examples. Explain what a neural network is in simple terms. Zero shot is quick and great if the AI already knows the domain well. Few shot prompting. You include 1 to 3 short examples of the task you want the AI to perform before making your actual request. Example number 1. Neural networks are like a series of connected math equations that learn patterns in data. Example 2. They're inspired by how human brain works, adjusting internal parameters to get better at a task. And the actual prompt. Using the start of these examples, explain convolutional neural networks with a simple analogy. So essentially, few shot prompting helps guide the AI towards a specific tone, style, or level of detail by showing it exactly what you want. So few shot prompting, we're essentially providing some examples of how we want the AI to structure and tailor the response. This can be using all the previous examples that we used before in terms of role playing, style, tone, format, context, constraints, and package those in an example of how you want the AI to respond, whether in a step-by-step fashion, and we can go ahead and then when we paste in our actual prompt, it will tailor it to our examples. Combining strategies for maximum effect. Scenario and self-ask. Create a situation and have AI identify the key questions. Few shot and chain of thought. Provide examples and request step-by-step reasoning. Roleplay multi-step. Assign a role and break down tasks into clearer steps. Sometimes the most effective approach is mixing multiple strategies into one prompt, as I previously stated already. Lastly, common mistakes and best practices. Mixing too many advanced strategies in a single prompt. Start with 1 or 2 strategies and then you can add more if needed. Remember, iterative prompting is the best way to do things. Try something out and then add as you go along, as we did with the TED Talk prompt earlier. Providing contradictory role instructions. Remember to keep your roles consistent. If the AI is a friendly teacher, don't later contradict that by demanding it to be strict and formal in the same session. Start a new tab, new session, or clearly state that you're wanting the AI to take on a new role now. Use iterative refinement even with advanced strategies. Combining multiple methods doesn't guarantee a perfect answer on the first try. As I've said, tweak it step by step as you go on, and this will ensure your prompts and the answers are voila. French kiss. Document your advanced prompt templates. If you find a combination that works for a specific domain, you can save it, reuse it, and adapt. So this is a very useful tip, especially if, say for example, you're using prompt engineering for whatever work you're doing, but let's say as your work as a software developer and you have certain things, as we've said, that you need to troubleshoot, that you need to check for. It can be very good to use if you've tailored a perfect scenario-based and role-playing based prompt. It's good to, for example, save that so that the AI knows exactly your scenario, your place of work, not to include certain things, certain omissions, certain context, certain constraints that you're using in your workplace. It's a very good example then to spend some time crafting out the perfect prompt, helping it to understand your work scenario, the things that your users are experiencing, etc., your brand, everything, your name, etc., how you format the questions. You get my point. And then to save that in a document somewhere, it's going to save you a lot of time when you're going to, say for example, troubleshoot something or respond to customers. It's something that's already saved for you. I hope that makes sense. And that pretty much concludes this lesson. We've got some practical applications. Didn't realize I had another slide there. And that's just a recap. But yeah, let's just go through this quickly. Expert level. Combine multiple strategies for complex tasks, as we said. Apply roleplay and few shot approaches. Start with multi-step reasoning and zero shot prompts. As you become more comfortable with these advanced prompt strategies, you develop an intuitive sense for which techniques work best for different types of tasks. And remember that the goal is to communicate your intent clearly to the AI, giving it the context and structure it needs to provide the most helpful response. With practice, you'll be able to craft prompts that consistently deliver high quality, relevant outputs that truly squeeze every ounce of intelligence from these powerful AI models. And let's just go over the recap since we've included a slide here. Multi-step reasoning. Remember, it's breaking tasks into clearer steps for structured output. Role play and scenario prompts. These give the AI a character or a situation to further boost relevance. The self-ask. We didn't spend too much time on this, but it's to instruct the AI to identify sub-questions before answering. So let's say, for example, you want the AI to write you a blog for which laptop is the best laptop to buy. And so you would include some sub-questions to ask, such as take in mind the price, take in mind the certain specifications, bear in mind what the user would want to use a laptop for, etc., etc. And so these are sort of self-ask that you tailor in as part of your prompt, so that the AI, when it generates the answer, it asks all these questions to itself and includes the answers to these things within the blog to make sure that the response is more tailored to your needs. I hope that makes sense. Zero shot versus few shot. Perhaps you should include that example. Let's just do that example very quickly. So the example that I gave was let's write a blog. You know what? Let's do it in a new chat, please. Yeah, let's include a role play. So you are a professional. If I could spell professional right, it would be great, wouldn't it? 2 S's, 1 F. You are a professional tech blog writer. I want you to write a blog on the best laptop to buy. I want you to put yourself in the user's shoes and ask yourself the following questions. And so now you just need to think about the questions that you need. So now you just need to think about the type of questions which you would be asking yourself when you are looking to purchase a laptop in this scenario. So, following questions: What is the best laptop to buy under £300? What will I use the laptop for? What will I be primarily using the laptop for? Do I want what are the pros and cons of a MacBook versus Windows? Windows laptop, etc. Let's just go with that for now. And we can see it has tailored the answer based on the self-ask questions. So let's just give it a quick read. I'm not going to read the whole thing. In today's world, a laptop isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether you're working from home, studying, managing your side hustle, or just binging Netflix, Choosing the right laptop can make a huge difference in your daily life, but when you're on a tight budget, say under £300, finding a reliable machine can feel like hunting for a unicorn. As a professional tech writer, I put myself in your shoes and ask, so I might not want to actually include these self-asks here. So this is where iterative prompting again comes in. And boom, oh no, I've hit the free plan limit for ChatGPT 4.0. What will you primarily use the laptop for? Before recommending a specific machine, it's important to ask what you need the laptop for. And so, okay, of course, now we've come up with use cases and the certain laptop features which you need. So by adding in these self-asks, I've now created a much more tailored blog, which is not so generic, and so it's given me much more tailored sort of recommendations, if you like. Alright, so I hope that is clear. Zero shot versus few shot prompting. Few shot provides examples, zero shot doesn't. Combining strategies. Mix and match these techniques for maximum impact, and of course iterative refinement. Even with advanced prompts, keep refining. Alright guys, that concludes it for today's lesson, and I will see you in the next one.